All right, everyone, it's Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, and the websites by plebes. Drop us a like and subscribe. We're going to the numbers. Let's kick it off. Okay, we are currently sitting at a block height of 674,200. Current Bitcoin price, 58,000. Chain rewrite days, 616. Total lightning capacity, 1,133.68 Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 9.65%. And the sats per dollar, we're still below 2K, 1,724.
Man, we're gonna compromise, because when this episode comes out tomorrow, when you guys see it, the price of Bitcoin might have already broken all-time high, which means Satoshi the Bitcoin chicken is going to cluck, but it might not have. It might not have, but it's been, 18 days now since the all-time high, so just giving you a small little glimpse of what Satoshi, the rubber Bitcoin chicken, is thinking. And for anyone who's new to the channel, that is Satoshi, the rubber Bitcoin chicken, and he clucks every time the price of Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, which it's touching it today, so it was close. It was close, almost there. Anyways, not that the price matters. Sovereignty is the most important thing. But anyways, Phil, that being said, it's time for
the daily fail. Today's daily fail is kind of related to the don't trust, verify, and the fact that, you can't fake Bitcoin. So, trader buys 36 million of copper and gets painted rocks instead. Ouch. $36 million of fake copper. I mean, don't get me wrong, but who's really hoarding and buying copper anyways? I mean, I know there's a market for everything, right? But I just feel like, you're like, really? You're picking copper? Anyways, it's kind of weak, but that's to begin with. And then on top of that, you get fake copper. That's like, man, that's like the fake bronze medal, right? That's like the fake third place. I don't know. It's just weird, right? No, because think about it, right? It's gold, silver, gold, silver. Well, I guess it's kind of gold, silver, bronze, but gold, silver, copper, right? And I don't know, anyways.
It's like, not only do you get a fake medal, you get the third worst medal, or the third medal. So yeah, man, just epic fail. And it just goes to show, man, how do you verify that you got legitimate copper or gold? Something that Peter Schiff, just fails to mention every time he goes on his rants. It's very hard to do so. It's very easy to verify whether I got real Bitcoin or not, because I'm running a node. So I know that if Phil or someone else sent me Bitcoin, I know that it's legit Bitcoin. And that cost me $100, $120. And if you want to install Bitcoin Core already on just on a computer, even though it takes a lot of resources, you could do it there. So basically anyone who has a basic computer and an internet connection could verify $100 million Bitcoin transaction, so it's like, dude, it's free advertising for Bitcoin once again. Thank you very much. I want
to add one thing to what you were saying. Okay. So there are certain services, right, where you can purchase your gold, through them, and they are certified, I think it's like LMDA or something like that, some specific type of certification for gold, that lets the purity and everything like that. But you still are trusting a third-party entity to tell you that it's real gold, and you still don't really know unless you actually test it yourself.
Exactly. You don't really know. You don't really know. And I know what you're talking about, those sealed little boxes with the gold bar inside. Yeah. It's legit.
And
it
has the certs. Yes.
And you're feeling and it has that little holographic sticker to make sure that, we're going to pop it up so you guys know what we're talking about. But dude, it's still not, you still don't know whether that metal bar inside is real or not. And with Bitcoin, you will always know. You will know. Your node will tell you whether that's legit Bitcoin or not. It's crazy. Bitcoin is just better at being gold. Gold sucks. Just a shiny metal rock. You gotta drop it. You gotta drop it. Sell it all for Bitcoin. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. Do you know how much gold there's left? No one knows how much gold there's left. There's an infinite amount of gold left. But anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The daily meme review.
Speaking of the devil, right? Speaking of gold and gold mining, this meme is brought to us by European Hodler. Let's check it out. Gold mining says, first of all, it says mainstream Bitcoin ecological fudsters. Gold mining, gold mining, gold mining. Of course, gold mining is horrific on the environment. Something that's failed to being mentioned, of course, because it doesn't fit the narrative, obviously. And Denver Bitcoins, the company that he works for, their use of excess natural flared gas, and they're turning that excess energy into sweet, sweet Satoshis, baby. So this is an incredible meme. I know you have to get it, right? Especially the Bitcoin machine, those Bitcoin machines that turn that excess gas into energy. I guess you have to be in the know. So it's very specific. That's a Phil. I'm gonna have to give that a Ritz wrapper, but instead of it being empty like last time, it actually has 3 Ritz in it. So it's a Ritz wrapper with 3 Ritz.
I mean, right there, because you got the 3 Ritz, that's worth more. So
yeah,
it's more. Yeah, that meme. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right? That meme, it just right now is perfect, right? It goes against the energy fudsters. It goes against the stupid, the ridiculous narrative from the gold people. So it plays perfectly right now. And you know what? Even if you don't understand anything about Bitcoin, right? You can look at that picture and you can get what the message is. So very well done. Very well done. I am going to give it it is going to get, it's a tough one, I'm all right. Here we go. This is getting a banana, but it's also getting a head of lettuce.
But you gave it a banana yesterday. But it was a banana with an apple.
Completely different. Nico, now you're insulting the meme lords.
Yeah, it's true. It is a completely different score.
Ugh.
2 bananas, they're not the same because they're connected to different fruits.
Lettuce?
It's different.
It's completely different.
Cabbage just gets you to think cabbage. Anyways,
take this more seriously.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. But I wore a very serious sweater today. Anyways, Phil, it's time for it.
The Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody, the news for today. First, check out this notable tweet brought to us by @Bitcoin_archive. Bitcoin taking off Coinbase this year at a crazy rate. Look at that supply drop. He's absolutely right. The fact that more Bitcoin is going off exchanges is always a good thing. We want as much Bitcoin in the hands of the people as possible, but perhaps, we don't know, Phil, this could be institutions taking Bitcoin off Coinbase. We have heard a rumor, although unconfirmed, that Coinbase already has 5 Fortune 500 clients that are already buying Bitcoin, have not announced that yet. But again, we have not confirmed that. And for anyone who isn't wondering, by the way, the Oracle rumors turned out to be BS. But anyways, that Oracle purchased Bitcoin, that isn't true as of yet. But anyways, check out this mainstream media article by the Wall Street Journal. Banks in Germany tell customers to take deposits elsewhere. Of course, the only reason this is happening is because European banks have been messing around with negative interest rates. And I just want to read you guys this quote by this 34-year-old that they quoted for the article that perfectly summarizes the situation that's happening. Is this quote: "I wouldn't mind receiving nothing for my deposit, but being asked to pay is just too much." And of course, they're referencing someone in Germany who just prefers not to. They can't hold their money in the bank because their bank is charging them money to hold their money. How absurd is that? This is late stage, end stage fiat. And if you think that this has always been historically the case, where if you want to put your money in a bank, the bank isn't up in arms and saying, of course, put your money with me. This is how upside down the late stage fiat world has become. And look at it historically, right? Historically, major banks have always given, somewhat of an interest rate on savings accounts. Look at 2018, and this is before 2020 and money printer go burr. Okay, 2018, the last stat in this chart says less than 1% interest rate on a savings account in Germany and in 5 other European countries, developed countries, Switzerland, Japan, Spain, Denmark, and Sweden. They're also playing around with these ideas of negative interest rates. And what that essentially is forcing the public to do in those countries is they're being forced to buy stocks and to speculate on equities and stuff like that, because you have no other choice but to do that, or you lose your money, because the banks are literally charging you money so that they could keep your money, so that you still have to ask them for permission to use your money. That is how crazy this has gotten, okay? This is absolutely bonkers, okay? And I think it was a tweet from someone else on Bitcoin Twitter, and I loved it. And it was basically saying a bank account is a 2 of 3 multi-sig where the state holds one of the keys, the bank holds another key, and you hold one key. So it's like, man, it's like you have everything to lose right now. Banking doesn't offer, retail banking as of this moment doesn't offer you anything, right? Phil, what are your thoughts? Of course, I'm being a little hyperbolic there, but you know what I mean. And and if you're in Germany, you know exactly what I mean.
So I think it's really important, that story, the quote that you read from that person, that said, "I'm willing to accept nothing at all." Okay, so this is very significant, right? We are willing to accept absolutely nothing. There's a quote that I always think of that I learned when I was like 16 years old, and goes like this. It goes, the revolution of lowered expectations is, the rich man's dream and the poor man's nightmare. And that's exactly what that is, because you see, like the rich can still find their way to seek alpha, right? They can still find their way to seek profits, even in times like this, right? Let's be honest. I'm sure that the rich, to a certain extent, during what just happened in the last year and a half, have thrived, and not only the rich, but the fortunate as well. But when it comes to being a person that doesn't know any better, and you're just holding what you have in cash, that. The revolution of lowered expectations is here. You're expecting nothing and you're okay with it. Why? And it's even less than nothing.
And you even have, it's even worse than nothing, because you have
nothing. They're asking you to pay. So
they're asking you to pay on top of
asking you to pay
on top of the monthly maintenance fee that they're already doing in the US. If you hold under a certain balance, they charge you like $15, $12 a month, just so that you have the privilege so that they could hold your money, right? And they can make money off the money that they're holding for you. Right. So this is late stage fiat. And Phil, you were talking about this the other day. All right. Yeah, Phil. And, the central bank, the Fed, which is the central bank of all central banks, essentially, they don't have any other tools, man. They're over. They can't raise interest rates. This is end stage. If they raise interest rates, the system will explode. Right. So, I just love their posturing, which is like no plans to raise interest rates. That's because you guys have no freaking choice. That's why you have no plans. And by the way, they also admit to, guess what? We're printing money, because that's essentially what they're saying when they say reduced bond purchases. So they're admitting we're going to not stop purchasing assets. When the Fed purchase assets, they're creating money out of literally thin air. And they're giving that money to the assets that they purchased, but it's like it's printing money. That's essentially what it is, right? It's very fancy, it's whatever. So if you read this article, is we can't raise interest rates, and yes, we will continue printing money to keep the system alive. Yes.
Our money system is run by LARPers. All these people, they wake up every morning and they live action role play the whole entire thing. We're going to pretend like we're taking care of the financial system. Yeah, what do we do to fix this problem?
Dude,
we're going to print money.
It's so freaking...
no solution.
They have no solutions because it's over. And you know what? It looks like companies are already starting to pick up on this. And the black hole of Bitcoin is going to suck everything up like you've never seen before. Awesome account on Twitter at Documenting Bitcoin. Another notable tweet from today. Tesla has now made $1 billion from buying Bitcoin. Man, listen. When countries start to understand and see this, right? We are printing money to tomorrow, right? And when they understand that there's nothing that these central banks could do to control the insanity that's happening, guess what's going to start to happen? Companies are going to start buying into this idea of Bitcoin, the idea that your money cannot be debased. And this idea, guess what? It's being traded. And the market is the one that decides what ideas are true and what ideas are not true. And currently the market is saying, guess what, guys? MicroStrategy, which stock was trading at $146 for basically 5 years, announced that it's tired of this dollar being debased. It bought Bitcoin as reserves. And guess what? Its stock is now sitting pretty at $800. It's a very, very, very powerful idea that Tesla bought into as well and has profited already $1 billion from this idea of having or owning or positioning your wealth, your energy into a currency that cannot be debased. Here is an awesome website, Bitcoin Treasuries. It just goes to show, MicroStrategy, which is the leader, of course, Michael Saylor, the Chad, just buying all the Bitcoin that he can humanly possibly buy. And check this out, man. Their cost, $2.1 billion. Today's value, 5.26. Tesla's cost 1.5, today's value 2.5. So it's like all these companies, Galaxy Digital Holdings, 134, now 947. Square, Twitter, 200. Jack Dorsey's company, 220 million invested and 463 million total worth right now. So, look, we've said this before. If you want to see the actual measure of inflation and what the actual market sees of the dollar, what their actual perception is of the dollar, just look at all that for yourself. It speaks for itself. If companies are willing to trade in their dollars for Bitcoin and the value of that Bitcoin keeps going higher, it shows you what the market wants. It shows you what the market values more. And that is Bitcoin. So, it's this huge black hole of it's just sucking everything in. And it's exactly what you said. And I just can't get it out of my head now, Phil. The central bankers and the treasury secretaries, they're just LARPers. They're just sitting there nodding their heads. Yeah. Everyone's just sitting there around there, like shaking their heads like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. But they have lost complete control of this. Man, they it up.
It sure did. And they know it. And like every day now, they just, it's like a cartoon. They go into their little cartoon office and they make up their fake little plans, and people's lives actually get impacted for real, though. That's the difference. So even though they're playing pretend decisions and they're playing pretend actions are having real world consequences.
and no consequence, and they have no consequences for them. Right, they just get a fancy job in the private sector, like Yellen. They get paid millions of dollars for speaking fees, So it's what
Scam.
what a racket, what a scam. But thank God for Bitcoin, and it really looks based on the Bitcoin Treasury's website and that literally parabolic chart of MicroStrategy. It really looks like us plebs are not going to be the only ones buying into this idea of Bitcoin being a better, sounder, stronger money.
Nope. That's right.
That is going to change very quickly. And of course, we are going to cover it here on Simply Bitcoin, which is exactly why you should smash that like button and subscribe, because you will try to cover it here first. But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, it looks like we have BTCPay Server version 1.0.7.0 that was released, and that is down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our episode. That was our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Bear with us. We are making improvements to our production. So if there's anything off with the sound or the video, it's a work in progress. It's work under construction, but we're all trying to do it so that you guys could have a better experience getting the latest Bitcoin news. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And of course, if you want to help us defeat all the shitcoin channels all over YouTube, and you love me and Phil, and especially Satoshi the Bitcoin Chicken, perhaps you don't love me and Phil, perhaps you just like what we say, perhaps you find value from it, I don't know. But anyways, if you any of the above, subscribe, and of course we will see you tomorrow for another episode, a brand new freaking episode of Simply Bitcoin.